Good evening, everyone. My name is Sister Doria Larrier, and I'm looking forward to chatting with everybody today. Welcome to episode 50 of the Lott Carey Wise Digital Couch. My name is Doria Larrier, the host of tonight's event, and on behalf of our Executive Secretary Treasurer, Reverend Emmett L. Dunn, our President, Dr. Jesse Williams, our first Vice President, Dr. James Victor, our second Vice President, Dr. Robert Scott, and the leadership of Lott Carey Wise, which is Women in Service Everywhere. We have Reverend Dr. Brenda McBurrow, Sister Lynette Richardson, which is our first Vice President. Second Vice President is Minister Brenda Troy. And for our youth department leader, it is Reverend Brittany D. Mingo, and the Men on Missions team leader, Deacon Charles Monterio. We welcome you here. Thank you so much for joining us. This is episode 50. We actually may be off one, but that's okay. We're 50 and we're fabulous. Tonight's episode is going to be a celebration of a continuation of our 125 years of service as Women in Service Everywhere. Before we get to that, we are going to have a little bit of housekeeping. So this is the beginning of April, which means if you have been following Lott Carey Women in Service Everywhere closely, you know that we just completed our 31 days of prayer. 31 days of prayer. We literally have gotten up before the crack of dawn. Yes, and some days it was kind of tight, but we did it. And for 31 days straight, we had a coalition of women and men who have joined in on a prayerful note and a prayerful tone to pray for 31 different countries across the world, across the globe, and their issues pertaining to trichosis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go on our website. Let's continue to share the information. We've also just wrapped up with our spring session that I hear was a wonderful, wonderful event. And I'm looking forward to having conversations with people about what occurred during the spring conference. And so, as you know, there are certain things that are coming up in the next couple of days and weeks. And so that will be the anti-human trafficking prayer service, as well as the Jumping for Justice Double Dutch event that focuses on supporting survivors of domestic violence. And that will be happening at Fountain Baptist Church in Summit, New Jersey, led by our former past president, Dr. Angelita Clifton, which is also always very meaningful and enjoyable and thought-provoking and amazing coming together. And then, of course, please go on to lottcarey.org for the registration, which I believe should be open. If it's not open right now, it'll be open in the next couple of days for our annual session. So we look forward to seeing and hearing all of the great stories and continuing to support the global missions projects that we have, not just across the world, but also right here in our states and in our communities. So tonight on the Digital Couch, I'm so excited to welcome someone that a lot of you know, a lot of you have been taught by, a lot of you have been smiled at and hugged by, and that is Sister Barbara T. Crump, and she'll be joining us tonight. And the focus of tonight's conversation is the power of one, a missionary's heart. The question is, can one person make a difference in missions? Of course. Absolutely. It only really takes one. And so we're going to have a powerful and inspiring conversation with Sister Barbara T. Crump. And if you did not know that this is her title, I'm telling you tonight, this is her title. And her title is the Global Ambassador for Lott Carey. She is absolutely a dedicated servant who has spent many, many, many years. We're going to talk about how many years, not only stirring the hearts of people for missions, but also mobilizing support for global missions. And so please welcome Sister Barbara T. Crump to the stage. Greetings, Sister Barbara.
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. So just before we hop into the conversation, this is the protocol that we know to call. So we are actually live on a couple of different platforms. We are live on our lottcareytv.org YouTube page. And so if you are seeing us there, please drop in a comment, drop in like the name of your church, the name of your pastor, where you're listening and watching us from in real time. Even if it is on the replay, please let us know how we are reaching out, because we're looking forward to reach out to some of the global partners that we have that are across the pond, right? Also, you are watching us on Lott Carey Wise Facebook page and also my personal page. So if you see any of this, please share it, like, comment, subscribe. We want to make sure that we continue to bring these great conversations. And again, let us know where you're calling, where you're watching, listening from. And if we do see you on the Facebook page, we will be able to see comments as well as YouTube. And then we would love to be able to pull the comments up and respond as well. So, Sister Barbara Crump, are we ready?
I'm ready.
And it's Thursdays in Black. So you see us in our Black. Why do we wear Black on Thursdays? Because ecumenicals across the world, we want to bring awareness and keep the awareness going, that we want the issues of gender-based violence awareness to be front of mind for most people. And so our ladies are not only dressed in Black, but they're also wearing pearls. Our gentlemen, our brothers who love us, they are wearing their Black, and they stand in support with us. So thank you so much.
Amen.
Amen. So here we go. Sister Barbara, you ready?
I think so.
All right. So tonight, as we've grown in this Lott Carey Wise digital couch space, we now have presentations. And so we're going to have presentations tonight. We're actually going to share some screens and we're going to go back. We're going to go way back. Sister Barbara actually went.
I'm not that old.
No, but you went back into time, right?
I did go back in time. We've been around a long time.
She went into the treasure trove. She found stuff that was done like on a mimeograph. Okay. So we're going to pull some of that out tonight, and we're going to take a look, because this is the 125th year of celebration. And so we had to find things from a long, long time ago in order to bring up. So we're going to do some of the conversation as well. So let's get into our chat. So First thing, and she will introduce herself with this first question. So your journey with Lott Carey began in, and we have to change that date. So I'm just going to leave that blank. Right?
I will let you know.
Right. So I thought it was under the leadership of Dr. Goatley, but no, it was before that. So
but it was under Dr. Goatley. I think he was there my whole time, but not the year you stated.
Okay. So what initially drew you to mission work, and what was your first experience like in this global organization?
Okay. Well, again, good afternoon, and it is indeed a pleasure to come and share. This has been so exciting for me. You should see my upstairs bedroom. I have papers everywhere because I save everything, and just did some going back and digging. But I'm going to start with what drew me to mission work. My mother, Ms. Isabel Tisdale. I call her the consummate missionary. She was president of her society at my church growing up. And just watching how she was always there. When a need was identified, she responded. I know once she left church, somebody called, they needed baby diapers or formula or whatever. But she had a missionary group. They were involved in the state missions. I don't know that they were that involved with Lott Carey, probably from a financial support, but just local missions, she did a phenomenal job. The other thing she did for me is have me involved with our junior missionaries for our Baptist General Convention, our state convention. And so learning from that. And I was most impressed. She was an employee for Virginia Powwow company in Richmond area. And she was able to set up an account with Virginia Powwow in our church, so that someone called and said their lights were going to be turned off. She was able to give and keep, especially if they had children. She would definitely make sure we had the money there. So she really just reached out and did such great work, and it made me very proud. I'll put it that way. And these are her pearls that I have on today as well, in memory of her. The second part, and then the other piece that led me to missions work was in 1982-85, I served as a home missionary for our Southern Baptist Convention in Richmond, Virginia. I worked there for about 3 years, And I worked at 2 different Baptist centers we have in inner city areas. And my call, and that's a question later on, but I just throw it out there now, is children. And so I'll share some more of that a little later. But there, the Baptist centers, I worked half-day preschool programs, and I also did Bible studies with elementary to high school students in the afternoon. And we had them come in. It was just so exciting to me to see how we were reaching in that community. We had them come in, they could play games for about 30 minutes or so. Then we had Bible study. And then we gave them treats as they left. But they looked forward to coming, and we were able to reach out. And with the Southern Baptist churches, we had volunteers that came in to assist me in that work. And then the other piece that where God led me was in 1988 to 97. And again in 03 to 08, I worked for our state Baptist General Convention, state convention. I started, and my title changed several times. I'm not sure why for a few of them. But at first I was director of missions, and then I was director of women's work, or maybe that was reversed, I don't remember. And also the last title I had was director of women and health. I can't even think of the title now. But, missions, and I did a health program called Spices for Life. And we helped teach churches, persons in churches, and we were all over the state of Virginia, how to make healthy choices. And SPICES stands for spiritual, physical, intellectual, cognitive, emotional, and social behaviors. And every day we're making decisions in those areas. And then I brought it out. Y'all had me digging out.
Wait, you gotta tell me that again. Tell me what SPICES is. Spiritual.
SPICES stands for spiritual, physical, intellectual, cognitive, emotional, and social behaviors. And we developed this curriculum, and I was able through a grant with AmeriCorps to recruit, they call them stipended volunteers in different areas of the state. And our grant was that we had 10 volunteers working each year in 10 areas across the state, and they did change from year to year. And they took the curriculum and designed programming to teach at least 10 churches in each of those areas. And I was blessed to be able to supervise that for about 5 years with the Baptist General Convention. And just to see, again, that's missions, helping people be able to make healthy choices. A lot of people, I used to say, are gone because of the health challenge choices that they made. So we were really trying to educate them. And so I worked there. And so those are my first experiences working with mission that drew me to, I think, mission work. And how did I get to Lott Carey is awesome. Put up my first picture. This dear lady who was, you got it? No, go back. There she is. And several of you might remember Ms. Mary F. Jackson. She worked for the Baptist General Convention office, and she was one of our BGC ladies as well. And some meeting I went to with her, she said, you should come to Lott Carey. You need to get involved. And so my husband and I, and it took me a lot of digging to realize what year, in 1994, we went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that was my first Lott Carey convention. And there, I was able to, like I said, I attended that. And what I remember, I think is that I was walking around, it's something new. You're seeing a lot of people you don't know. And I met, the next picture, Dr. Beverly Scott, who at that point wasn't, but she became our president of the Women of Lott Carey. She kind of took me under her wing, and she said, you need to be involved. And she said, come this evening and sing with us for our women's session. And our president at that time, show the next one, I think is the next slide, was Miss Bernice Troy, mother of Reverend Dr. Keith Troy. And that night she was presenting her, and I had the program. I still have the program. I can't believe it. And also Dr. Scott asked me to sing with the Minister's Wives Choir. So it was a really awesome experience being able to be involved. And that's when I got bit by the Lott Carey bug. And I was asked to teach on the missions education team. And my first year of teaching was 1996. I found that brochure as well. My name listed there. I'm like, I did some lot of work and had fun with it. So those are my first experiences teaching there. I also had forgotten that I served as Week of Prayer chair for our Week of Prayer. And this is one of the brochures that we had. And Dr. Scott, Mrs. Finney was president. And so this is one that I designed, and I served, I think, from 05 to 09.
Wait, can I ask a question? Does Dr. Angelina Clifton, who I'm not really sure if she's watching, usually she pops in, did she see that? Has she seen that?
Angelina Clifton? I don't think so.
We may need to get that to her. So hold it, okay?
Okay. I've got all this, and I'm going to get it organized by years.
All right. Excellent.
Okay. And so I served in that capacity each year I designed a different brochure. We had a theme, and we did the 1 week of prayer. And eventually when I was ending, we asked you to have it. We had a special date at first, but then we said spring 09 is for this last one that we did. The other thing I had forgotten that I did was I worked on the handbook revision. And I found a letter from Dr. Scott asking me to serve. Am I going through papers today? And it was in 05, April 05. We had our first meeting. But I met with some wonderful ladies to revise our handbook. And guess what I found? This is one of the first handbooks that we had.
Did I tell you that we broke out the mimeograph? Wait, no, Sister Barbara, you have to open that up. Look at the setting on that. Look at the typesetting. First of all, God bless whoever handed that. Okay.
I know.
Look at that. Y'all know that was done on a mimeograph.
So we have it. And I said, I'm going to get to Tisa and tell Tisa, does she need any of these? Because I love her to have them. They'd be nice at her house, not mine. And so we got the handbook, and it breaks it down and explains what we do and the committees it was just, I found this in my stuff. And this
is archival work.
And this is I don't think you took a picture. This is our revised handbook. I think this is the last one we did. And this was in 05. And that's what I want to just also say to people, date everything and put the date clearly, because I had to do a lot of guessing, but I think this was done in 05. And this was done, I think Beverly Scott was president. Dr. Scott was president. I'm not sure.
Okay, I want to pause for a moment because so this is confirmation. So look at what Dr. Brenda McBurrow just said.
Okay, yes, share with Tisa. Okay, I surely will.
I hope you're watching. You're going to get some goodies in the mail, okay?
Yes.
Work. We are trying to make sure that we keep the story of Lott Carey and Lott Carey.
Yes, and I have a lot of stuff I will make sure. And the chairman before me was one of our BGC ladies, Sister Lola Beckett. And when she stepped down, and her daughter emailed me several of the week of prayers that she did. They're upstairs too. So I will make sure that she gets all of that wonderful information.
Look at this. Wait, we have another one.
Okay.
So Sister Lottie McCoy, shout out Salem Missionary Baptist Church. She says she has the revised handbook. Yeah. Okay. So Sister Lottie McCoy, when I see you in church, if you want to pass it, if you're going to slide it across the pew, slide across the aisle.
Very good. Very good. I love it. Okay. So let's see, where am I? Because I had to make an outline so I can keep myself on track.
I go.
And so those are my two things. I have really forgotten that I had done with Lott Carey. Well, when Reverend Yvonne Best left, Dr. Goldie called me and asked me to help with the Women's Auxiliary. And that's 2010 that you had. But I have forgotten really how much I had worked before that. But I've been on the teaching team since 96. I haven't taught every year, but I found most years I have. So that's been a fun search as well today.
And that's where I met you. That's where
you were my teacher assistant. I don't know which year.
It had to be 2012.
2012. Okay. It was one of your first or second year at the convention. Yes. Excellent. Yes.
So I'm gonna give you the floor, and then when you raise your finger, I'll come back because the spotlight needs to be on you. Because this is about to be a whole chapter, everybody. Okay, this is a whole chapter. Get your tea. I got my mug. Get your mug.
And I do have, I think I left it in the kitchen. I have my Lott Carey mug, and but it's in there right now.
All right, I'll be right.
Okay.
Raise the finger. Give the church finger. I'll be right back. Here we go.
Okay. You want me to go? Okay. All right. So then in 2010, Dr. Golden asked me to help with the Women's Auxiliary and as volunteer staff. And his first focus, he asked me to help with getting women more financially involved in supporting the work of Lott Carey. And that's when we developed the project called Global Ambassadors. And that was in 2010. And we had a lot of work. I worked with the presidents of the convention, and we had the little flyers. We developed packets, and we tried to give them all that they needed to ask persons to help us. And I thought this is the other sheet I found that we did with Global Ambassadors. We had 5 countries: Ethiopia, India, Jamaica, Zimbabwe, and New Guinea. No, 2 countries in India we were supporting. And our total was $200,000. So we really worked for women's empowerment to get the ladies involved. It had its ups and downs, but we really worked to try to get those extra funds so that Lott Carey could do the work that Lott Carey wants to do. In 2016, Dr. Goldley sent me and yay, somebody said we did raise it. Yes. He sent me and Don Sanders to Kenya. And he said that they've been really asking in Kenya to get a women's empowerment center. I should have a picture of that for you all to see, but most of you have seen that. And when we worked in 2017, he asked me to raise $30,000. And I'm like, okay, Lord, this is an interesting assignment. And that wasn't anything I'd done before. So I went to my pastor friend, who eventually became my pastor, Reverend Janet James, and asked her, and she was a good fundraiser. I said, Janet, how can I raise this money? She said, you need to have a tea, and you can have it at my church. So I got a committee together of wonderful ladies, and some of them are still working with us with Global Ambassadors. And we had a tea. So I prayed and asked God, how am I raise this money? And he said, ask 100 women to give $100 for our first tea. And guess what? We did it. We raised $10,000 for that first tea. And each year we worked hard to get that money raised. And in 2019, our Lott Carey president, and y'all go so much, I remembered who was. I know Rosette was there, but I think somebody else might have been the president. We went over, as the wise women we went over to dedicate that building. It wasn't able to be completed because they had a lot of handicaps. Somebody's typing up what I'm saying. Okay. And so it really wasn't completed, but it was usable. I think the first floor was able to have classes, and that was what they were about: Bible study and skill development. And when we got there, we were in a meeting or something, and Reverend Chariot said that we had raised $40,000 to get that building. So we want to congratulate all the persons that worked with us so diligently to get that done. And so we were able in 2019 to dedicate that building. Let's see. I think, and so I don't know where my notes are, but anyway, I'm excited to report that Dr. Reverend Dunn said at spring conference this year, that Alpha Street has said they will finish that building, get it the way it should be, and they're going to name it after our former president, Sister Rosette Graham, as we know, who left us much too early. But she really assisted me in that work as well. She came to the tea, and we were able to do the work that we're doing. We did. So I think that's my answer to your first 2 questions, Sister. Your first question, Sister Darielle.
So actually, I am the ghostwriter. There's no ghost here. I'm the one that's taking.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying to take good notes, right? So
thank you.
I need my stream team. There's a number of people who are in the chat, and yes, I know Mom is in the house. Hey, Mom. Dr. Brenda Burrows, Sister Charlene Johnson, Sister Lottie McCoy. So there are a number of people who are actually on And if you hear something that either you co-signed to, that you participated in, that you watched Sister Barbara lead,
work with me. Several of my, I
work,
think, team is there.
please, 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 please drop in the chat. Please say, hey, if there's additional things that should be a part of this chat, because this is an archived work, right? So the myriad of things that are in Sister Barbara's head, the things that she sort of pulled from, underneath the boxes and up in the attic and in the basement, right? It's only a tittle. It's only a tittle.
That's right. That's correct. And that is so true.
We need everybody's, opportunity to sort of put into this mini documentary, which is the Lott Carey Wise digital accounts, because we are trying to encapsulate, right? We're trying to encapsulate what has happened since the centennial. And you have that book nearby?
Yes, right here.
Hold up the centennial book, because we're adding to the next quarter of the century. Okay. And do you see that it's in the plastic?
Yes,
do you see that it's in the plastic?
It is in the plastic. Yes.
And so, right, she has the plastic.
And it has it's a wonderful history. So I'm excited as we work to update that. Excellent. And I found this piece when you had me pulling. And I'm not sure who did this, but this is 05. A week of prayer and fasting about my Father's business. And that was our theme that year. And I don't know why the Lord had me sit down. And I had a letter I wrote in here to this group. And we had a letter from different people. Dr. Goldie, Von Best, Colleen Stanley was our president. And there's a letter from Barbara Crump asking them to support. I'm like, forget, you just forget. I was pleasantly surprised, I should say.
This is the time.
Anyway, but
excellent.
Yes. Okay. I think I'm done with the first question.
And look, you thought that this was going to be over in a couple of minutes. Not so.
Oh my God, 30 minutes already. We got to move.
We're good. This is a documentary. It's all
okay. All right.
All part of the master plan. Here we go. So our next question is, and this literally is a great segue. So you are known as a dynamic advocate for missions, from speaking engagements to hands-on fundraising, hence the T. What moment or experience made you realize that mobilizing others for missions was your calling?
Okay. I think as I have worked over the years of my life, again, my mother's always my inspiration, and she was a real worker, but she was a giver as well. And I think the other piece is the Baptist General Convention. I worked there from 88 to 97. And then I left and did the child care center that I opened at my husband's church. And then I came back in 03. But the work there, I worked with the ladies, and part of their responsibilities was raising funds for our work at the Baptist General Convention. So I developed that relationship with persons, and that, I think, helped me see that we have a lot. We've blessed to be a blessing. And so I think starting in Baptist General, and then, of course, segueing into the work that I did with Lott Carey, is the friendship, the persons that I have met over the years. And a lot, I'm known all over the state of Virginia for my work there with Baptist General. So I have a lot of ladies. All of them don't come to Lott Carey. But when I started the Global Ambassador piece, I went to an association to talk, and I do that. I do share about Lott Carey now at several of the associations in Virginia. And I asked one of my friends, I said, I'm doing a fundraiser for Lott Carey, and we're trying to, probably was building that building. And she said, whatever you're doing, Barbara, I know it's good. Here's a check. And so God has really blessed me over my work to establish a rapport. So people, and I have people that even now, don't I owe you $100? I said, yes, you do. So people, because I've kind of been doing it for a while.
In perpetuity.
Yes.
I love it.
So mobilizing people for missions, I think came out of my work with the Baptist General Convention there. And then this came on over to, because a lot of those ladies we've involved as well. Okay. And I think that's it.
Okay. So now let's talk about the mission. You've done a lot of mission work here by organizing people on the ground, literally hands and feet on the ground. And then you did talk about some of the work that you've done with like the chariots. So let's talk about traveling for missions, doing the travel work. So can you share a mission trip? And maybe it was the work with the chariots, I'm not sure, but or can you share a mission trip that deeply impacted you and reinforced why this work is so critical? So maybe it's expounding on the chariot work or something else that you saw and you're just like,
Well, as I prayed about that and answering that, seeing Lott Carey's work firsthand was such an eye-opening experience. And my first trip was to Ethiopia, and I came back. It took me such a long time to debrief how rich, and I do mean rich, we Americans are. We are filthy rich compared to some of our sisters and brothers, the work that we do with Lott Carey. So seeing those needs and knowing that we have such resources here just ping me to want to do what I can to help us help those countries that we've, because Lott Carey, and I guess that's the other thing, I've had firsthand view of our work. Ethiopia, we're working with prostitutes who leave children at home to go out to make money so they can have a home. We're able to train them and get them off the streets. We're working with HIV/AIDS through the university in Addis Ababa, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. But yes, and so we do so much great work. Liberia was kind of my place because it's education, and that's my, missions is good, but I want to educate, and I want to missions educate as well as secular educate children as well. But we give the opportunities, and I was so impressed with the children. We want to make a difference. They don't take education for granted like a lot of our children do. And so just seeing the work we're able to do to get them, and they can become whatever they want because they've given some foundations through our work. And the Women's Empowerment Center is another place that I've feel so proud of. Dr. Golden sent me there in 2016, and it was just me and Dawn, and I met our sisters. And they said, we really need this. And I said, we're going to work on it. I got pictures. I didn't bring all that up. But we were standing on there, started the building and needed it finished. And I said, we're going to work hard so that we can help you all get this finished. So just seeing the work that Lott Carey has done. And as I said, it just makes it wonderful. My Australian trip was a dream come true. It was a bucket list to get to go to Australia, number one, but then to get there and work, to get to meet our partners. Our first activity was to go to a museum, and I'm a museum person, so that was so exciting. But the thing that hit me was their history, the early people and Australians, and the African American, the Native Americans, it looks like it was the same history. But they've had such hardships because they, in many ways, were treated like we were as slaves. And so they weren't given opportunities. So we're there making a difference, trying to empower and help persons have a better life. So all of those have impacted on me. And so through those trips, my work in home missions in the city of Richmond, and just the work I've done over the years, it makes me want to be an ambassador. I want to make a difference. I want to do what I can to help. And each year we ask through the global ambassadors, we ask the executive, now Reverend Don, and he says, what can we do? What can a little group of ladies do? Even though we reach out to men for sure to help make a difference. So, and on that note, I just like to say for this year, our work is to continue trying to raise funds for that school in Bapulu. Been to Bapulu, very disadvantaged. Oh my goodness. They only go through 9th grade. So we're trying to get a high school there, and he says it's going to cost about $300,000. So we're doing all that we can and getting all the people we can to get involved with helping us. So
now, what country is Bapulu in?
Liberia.
Okay, I'll look it up and got it.
Mm-hmm. And Liberia we have 2 schools, one in Brewerville, I think it's Brewerville, and the other one is in Bapulu, and they're about 70 miles apart. And so the need is great. And I'm excited that we're going to make that difference. But our team is going to try. We did during pandemic, we did virtual teas, and they were fun. So we're going to try. Some people have asked me, "Come on, Barbara, do another virtual tea." And so we're going to tentatively. We've said June 7th. We're going to just put a blast out there, and we're hoping. Reached out to him today that Sam Peel will be our speaker. It is a virtual jazz tea, so we hope that you will be able to join us and give to help make a difference in Bapulu, Liberia. And I don't know why I just typed this in, but truly, Lott Carey is touching lives with God's transforming love. And going on those trips and seeing the difference just makes me, every time I come back, want to do more. What can I do, Lord? What can I do? So we are grateful. And I just want to give a shout out. I think it's appropriate. And I have a team of persons that are working with me. They've been faithful over the years. Tammy Woodson, she's in Virginia. Elizabeth Moore, Maryland. Kathy Tatum is in Virginia. Sheila Gabriel is in North Carolina. Ivana Rivers is in Ohio. Cynthia Bentley is in Maryland. And I have to add, and I'm excited to say, Carrie Crushon is with the Tuckahoe Baptist Association. This is not their first time doing fundraising, but they gave us a check for $6,000 for this school. And I want to thank her and Reverend Dr. Stephanie Wilkes, who works with that association as well, for their great work to make a difference. And then I have to give a shout out for Sally Wimbaum. I am a member of the Gatenkirk Presbyterian Church, and Sally is the person that told me about that church. And we've been kind of good friends since then. And she called me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, "Barbara, all these cuts that they're making and they're hurting people, but your organization is still trying to do the great work and I know you all are." She wrote me a check for $2,000. Yes. So people know we're making a difference. And I think it's one of your questions, so I won't get ahead of myself. But I want to give those shout outs, but I don't want to get to the end and forget them. But I can't do it by myself. But God has sent great people, and some people have been on the committee and they're not on anymore. And, we just kind of move. And anybody that wants to join us, please do. And I think it's a question you're going to ask, so I'm not going to say it more right now.
Right. So first of all, do you recognize the name Tivoli Harris Robeson?
That's a wonderful, delightful, one of the greatest people in the world. That's my daughter.
Yay!
Yes. And she has worked with me tremendously. I call her and she just says, "Okay, Mama." She's been a great help, and I'm just proud of her.
Fabulous. Yeah. So I did want to give a couple of little shout outs. So we also have Sister Veronica Wadi.
Veronica and I lived next door to each other when we were little girls. So we've known each other a very long time, and she's a great supporter.
Former neighbor, and the work she's done in missions for the women of BGC.
Yes, she's worked with BGC and Lott Carey with us.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I wanted to actually just put a pin in a phrase that you've brought up a couple of times, and I want to elevate the fact that some people will take that phrase and say, "Oh, like, what can they do?" And you said, "Well, what are a couple of little ladies going to do?" Honey, don't underestimate the power and the ingenuity of a quote unquote a little ladies or a couple of ladies. Because show that book again. Can you show the book again? The Centennial book.
Okay. And this is ladies right here. Yes. Over the years.
If no one knows what is in this book, but I know a couple of people have the book. If you just flip through again, I sat and I felt like I was in the deep archives of, let's say the National Museum of African American History, right? If you know why I'm bringing that up. If y'all haven't gone, please go, because people are trying to shut the doors, right? But I felt like I was downstairs in like the depths of the archives where it's temperature controlled, right? And you have to wear gloves in order to touch anything. Why? Because when I looked at the faces of the women and even the beautiful like cat eye glasses, right? With the little boots. Yes. I was taken back into time of like, let's say the 50s or early 60s. And, I was born sometime in there, but I was taken back and who thought that quote unquote, these little ladies could pull together, whether it be
That's right.
them selling some sweet potato pie,
Mm-hmm.
having some chicken dinners,
That's right.
making whatever they made, making a little
Mm-hmm.
potato salad, a little, lemon cake, whatever they did. But they
Mm-hmm.
were the ones that sometimes people would say took from nothing, but made
And they
something.
did.
And they supported their home mission, like you talked about being a home missionary, and then also had money to go send to places outside of wherever they lived. And that's the beauty. And so we're coming out of Women's History Month, but in
Mm-hmm.
essence, to me,
Mm-hmm.
it's always Women's History Month, because especially for Lott Carey Women in Service Everywhere, it's always Women's History Month.
That's for sure.
But here you are the epitome of the global ambassadorship of Lott Carey. And you've gotten the little ladies. Don't they ain't so little, right?
No, they're not. Mm-mm.
Because they putting their pennies and their quarters and their nickels and dimes together and wrapped up in the handkerchief, okay? Right?
Yes, 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 yes.
And $40,000? Or asking 100 women to give $100, and that becomes.
And they're still giving it. So many of those ladies that I asked back there in 2017 are giving me that's what I call my $100. And got one story I love to tell.
Of course.
And it was Shirley Higgs, Sixth Baptist Church. And I asked Shirley, I said, Shirley, you need to give me $100 for this project. But I ain't got no $100. I said, keep yourself out of Red Lobster and Outback, Dillard's, Macy's, and blah, blah, blah. And she called me about 2 weeks. She said, Barbara, come get this check. But we have it. That's the point. We have it. We have it.
And if
are we going to give it is the question.
Right. Where are we going to give it?
Where do we give it?
Invest. Do we really need like an 8th black dress?
And see, the other piece that is so funny, this is another good story. We going to the convention. We got to go get new clothes, And we were in Charlotte, I think. My memory with the dates and places aren't that good, but I do know John O. Peterson, I think, was president. And the way the convention center was, you go down escalators into the mall. And I'm a great shopper. And so I had me a good time in the mall. He got to that service that evening. He said, let me just tell y'all something. Don't be dropping more in the mall that you're not dropping for Lott Carey. And I wrote my check. I added up all my little receipts. And I wrote a check to Lott Carey for every penny that I spent in that mall, because he's right. We're about to work making a great difference.
Beautiful.
And so we have to give. And it's not because we don't have it. Really. And that's kind of what I do with you, huh?
Where do we choose to invest it?
Where do we choose to invest? And we can make a difference. And I think it's one of your questions. And since we're on the topic, when I invite people to support the work that we're trying to do, I start with prayer. And I said, okay, Lord, what do I need to say? What do I need to do? How do we? And basically at this point, we're doing emails, which I'll be doing tomorrow morning. Y'all be hearing from me. And we sent out the flyer for the year. We just finished it this week. And I pray before I even hit the send button. And I said, Lord, please open hearts and minds to give. And it's the prayer of the righteous that makes a difference. And when I invite people to give, to serve, I want them to understand it's a privilege. God has given you this privilege to make a difference in the lives of people who are that have so many needs. And then that goes to my scripture. You're blessed to be a blessing.
Amen. We
have it. It's what we decide to give. So I try to remind them that we need to look at, the Bible says 10%, but the offering is when you go over the 10%. And let me just say this testimony. I'm a witness to the care of God. I have stepped out. I didn't even get to the jobs I've had. I've had a lot of jobs. And God has said, time to go. I'm like, Lord, how much He takes care when you ask Him, when you give yourself to Him in service, God takes care of you. And I'm a true witness to how God has cared for me. I just sit there and thank you for this, because it just helped me remember, oh my God, look what God did. Look what God did. Look what God did. But it always, I have to say it again, it always starts with praying. And that's kind of my closing piece. I think I'm trying not to get ahead of your questions.
It all ties together.
Yes, indeed. But I try to help people. One of the things that concerns me is that we do not teach people to give. Because some people tell me when I ask them for money for a project, that's what the church's supposed to do. You need to go ask the churches. But global ambassadors, and we're not asking persons. I mean, we're not asking churches, we're asking people. So my cousins are given opportunity to give when they probably wouldn't if I didn't ask them to. And so the project is about asking people, as Dr. Golder would say, in your circle of influence, to give something to make a difference in the lives of others. So that's kind of the way I do it. And I just want to help teach people that each of us, that's another thing I did, especially at BGC. I did a lot of workshops and training sessions there. Every Christian is a missionary.
Wait, I have a question. Just remind us, BGC is what?
Baptist General Convention
of
Virginia. I worked there quite a few years.
Okay.
With the women missionary circles around the state.
Okay. And then how about this? We're going to, as you do that, we're going to switch, or not shift, but shift into the conversation about, because you're kind of on it. Like many people don't see themselves as missionaries. So you're starting to talk about it, right? Or how they can contribute. So how to use your platform for the example of the T to inspire those who aren't yet engaged to invest in serving missions. Go. So
okay,
pick up the comma,
and I'll continue on.
There you go.
One of the things I think that concerns me is we're not teaching people. I've been to events where ladies felt uncomfortable because they didn't have their white on, or they didn't have their black on, because we put these stipulations on. Missionaries were white. Well, you're teaching them that everybody's not a missionary, and we all are. Once you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, your life changes and you become a mission for Him. And we have to teach people that God has gifted you and provided you with all kinds of skills and finances and everything else, and He wants you to use them for His service. And so I try. That's kind of the way I've done it over the years through my messages. I've done a lot of Mission Day messages, and I do lots of workshops. But you're on assignment? And I always like to say in my messages, when you get to the pearly gates, God's not going to ask you what kind of car you drove, what kind of house you lived in, what kind of clothes you wore. He's going to ask you, did you do my will? And I wanted, and then this just came to mind, and I want Him to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And it's an asking of Him what He wants you to do. You kind of know it because of the gifts. And one of my secrets is, and I've heard this so much about me, Barbara, when you're talking about something you love, you just light up like a Christmas tree. And so when I'm talking about global ambassadors, I light up. When I talk about RVA Reads, which I haven't shared about, I light up. But God gives us those opportunities to serve. And I want to do whatever I can to invite people in, give them the opportunities. One of the things I can say with my daughter's church that didn't happen necessarily in mine, and my granddaughter's now 15, and they do quarterly mission service. I wish you could see here to tell me because I didn't put them in my notes. But they go out, and she picks to go to a place where they provide showers for homeless people. And she and my granddaughter help. And so my granddaughter's getting that first-hand opportunity. And that's where we need to also work on, giving our young people opportunities to serve, to know that they'll make a difference. Go ahead.
Right. So this is actually why I wanted to engage in this part of the conversation, because, you're successful at doing these T's in order to raise money for missions. And maybe some people may or may not know how that goes, what happens. Well, if you want like the personal little tutoring, go directly to Sister Barbara. But I wanted you to share that. But now you're talking about getting young people together to support with, is it like a mobile shower?
It's a building that they go in and they have to, they register. I haven't had the privilege of participating, so hopefully Tivoli, I'm getting it right. But that they have to register and come in, and they allow them to come in and take a shower in that building. And they have the volunteers helping with that process that help them to go through. And then like my son-in-law, he goes to a nursing home. And he goes there quarterly and he ministers to the ladies there. So, providing people with those opportunities to serve helps them be served. Now, my success and so engagement, when I look at this, I'm thinking of giving, yes, but we also need to engage people in service as well. And I think it's asking. It's this simple and providing those opportunities that will allow them. And that this is my closing thing on that question. I pray that all of God's children identify their giftedness and their calling. We're each here on purpose. We each have a divine assignment. And when you find it and get busy about God's call and assignment, you will have joy like no other. When you're doing God's work, and I tell you, for me, it's, and that brings me joy. And that's what I want to do. And I know my time is running out. So let me just share this. My other joy, I have 2 projects that I'm involved in right now. One is Lott Carey.
You can keep talking. We good. We documenting. Good.
And I also do a project with the city of Richmond called RVA Reads. And this ain't nothing but a gift from God, because children, like I said, is my first call. But we serve, I think it's like 1,900 to 2,000 children, 0 to 5-year-olds at this point. And we give them a book to build a home library every month. And I started with the 5 preschool centers. I have volunteers that meet me there. We read to every class, and the children get to take the book home. And so we're doing early literacy with our children. My girlfriend, Tammy Woodson, is my assistant, and she works with the childcare, the daycares, and she goes in once a month to those. And we're also doing the Children's Hospital in Richmond. And Tammy goes there once a month, reads to those children. I went with her the first time. It was just to know you're making a difference. So we got gifts, and that's what this all. And you just ask God to give you the opportunity to serve. And I think I'm done with that. So we got a very few minutes left, and I want to get to the last question.
Like I said, this is.
I might have already answered it. Go ahead.
We're good. You can say whatever you need to say. We are fine. So thank you. I just put in the chat the RVA Reads again. If people are interested in a variety of mission projects, it doesn't have to be, huge, right? If you're reading books to children, again, in a local school, in a childcare program, in a hospital, if you want to have a tea, if you want to get toiletries together. And the thing is, some people don't know just because they don't know, or they don't want to know what's possible. So actually, thank you. So Sister Tivoli, I'm going to put yours up right now. So Sister Tivoli says, showers. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Showers are weekly. Thank you. Dinner is also provided, an opportunity to get a load of clothes washed and get toiletries. So I literally, I'm actually interested in that. Like what, but again, this is offline. But then again, who do we call to say, like, what type of a building, what company is it that we contact with, contact? I'm thinking about the protocol, if you will, the procedure of getting people into the building, taking how much time, who's giving the towels, like how do we get this stuff? Where's the laundromat that we're using in order to wash the clothes? How close is it? That's what I'm thinking. Is it a hotel? Is it like a YMCA, a YWCA? Is it a corporate building? Is it a gym? Is it like all those questions? Go to Sister Barbara.
I'll find the answer if I don't know it. I'll definitely try to find the answer.
Just type in the chat in the YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't bring that sheet down, but I have a 2-page sheet that I share when I do workshops. I think it's upstairs. Give all kinds of ways that you can serve and be creative. The needs are there. And like you said, it's contacting agencies that are doing it. And I want to say this, I can't say it enough. Don't pigeonhole people in doing things that they're not comfortable doing. Try to help people. My church, we're getting ready to do a thing. She's asking me to help her, helping people to identify their gifts And the gifts help you identify your call. And it's about helping people. That's what God wants us to do. So whatever I can do to help people understand, you're here. And it ain't about you only. God will bless you, but God has got you here to serve and help other people. And so often in our churches, we do not help people as much as I would like to see it. Understand that. It's not a set of people's call. You know how we are? Thank you, Lord. We did a little missionary group. And some missionary groups get mad if the other people in the church want to help. No, your job is to involve all the people in the church in missions. We are the leaders of missions to get people involved. So that's kind of my, I get excited. So
according to their shtick, right? According to their shtick. I love it. So let me just put this up. Sister Andrea Ross, I see you. Great interview. Thank you. Sister Barbara Crump, excellent teacher. Again, she was the first person when I came back, it was 13 years ago. And I was her class manager, and I just was grafted to her immediately. I love it. Thank you. And then
thank you.
Carmen Sita Stewart, happy Spring Thursday.
Oh, yes. Hi, Carmen Sita. Yes. We worked together through BGC, Baptist General Convention. Yes.
Excellent. All right. So here, let's wrap it up. And don't worry about the time. Again, this is your 15 minutes or literally your hour of fame. Your hour plus.
Okay.
We're documenting, the great work of women in service everywhere.
Yes.
Purpose of this.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So this might be your final question, but if you take off and go somewhere else, we're here for it. So as we celebrate 125 years of women in missions, what encouragement would you offer to the next generation? So that would be moi and then some, of women seeking to make a lasting impact through Lott Carey. So I think the first thing that I want to have you sort of reiterate is you definitely are the mentor of helping people like myself and others to first figure out what their gift is, right? What their gift is, what they were blessed with. And then how do you take that gift and then share it so that more mission work can be
done.
Right? So how do you help with that?
The first thing that comes to mind as I read that was there is much work to do in Lott Carey. We are all over the world. We're doing phenomenal work. So, and I said this is the second time, you start with prayer, talking daily to God and asking him. I'm going to close with that today from my mother. And you start with praying for our staff, our leadership, and especially our partners. So if you're interested in doing whatever, it all starts for me, and I would advise you to start to pray. Remember, pray about his plan for your life, your place in his kingdom, studying his word and asking when you open that Bible, speak to me, Jesus, what do you want me to know from this passage? And you do that, I feel like you will be identified, your call, your purpose, and your gifts. And as you identify those, then you open yourself up and say, Lord, where do you want me? I want people to know that they are needed. We need more people working with us through Lott Carey. And I want us to open up and asking more people. We are cliquish. We got this little clique and it needs to be open to everyone. And they need to feel welcome, as I did when I first went to Lott Carey. Like I said, Beverly Scott just took me under the wing and provided me so many opportunities to serve. And if each one of us did that, we would be growing by leaps and bounds. But we tend to, I just want us to kind of break up some of that click, click, click stuff. We want them to know they're needed. You have something to contribute. And if you don't do anything but pray, that's a big contribution. But, you can give your little 5 cents, 10 cents, $100, whatever you have. You need to pray, and then as God leads. People are waiting on you to shine your light so that they can see the way through your light. So as you're looking at the people behind us, what light are you shining? How inclusive are you? Do you make people feel welcome? because that makes a world of difference. And I found this in my researching and what to say, and I'll just share part of it. If God has called you, follow his call. If God has called you, the provisions are already there. If God has called you, get out of the boat and get into the water. By grace, we will experience giving. I've experienced giving and going. There is no better life. Keep your eyes on the one who calls you. He is faithful. He will do it. God's got a plan and he will reveal it, but you've got to ask him and wait on him to show. And be obedient. I'll give one example. God told me the time, it was 2008. He told me to leave BGC. And I had been given a date, July 15th. I was going to leave. And the annual session is at the end of June. I got there with my ladies and the work we were doing. And I said, Lord, I'm doing a good work here. Let me stay. I don't want to go. Don't do that. When he tells you to leave, he's got a plan. And the secret to life is obeying his plan. But you can't get it planned if you're not asking. He told me, but Miss, I'm going to stay. I stayed there 4 extra months, the most miserable months of my life. And he did not. I couldn't work because he took all the giftedness away. God's got a plan. And he wants you to do what he has planned for you to do. And let me tell you, when I left that job, he gave me the opportunity to teach at Virginia Union University School of Theology. And guess what topic I got to teach? Nurturing children in faith, my call. God has a plan, and our job is to find it out and get busy doing it. So as you're talking to people for the next generation, that's it. And I think that's it. I've gotten closed with my mama's thing. You ready for it?
Did you take a picture? No, I didn't. I didn't take a picture. I was actually looking for it, but I'm going to give you the entire stage. So as we wrap up.
Yes.
Sister Barbara has gone into the treasure troves, probably just right off of her dresser or something, right off of her
yes,
wall,
it was.
in order to share a personal word from her mama's heart to yours. And so I'm going to allow Sister Barbara to wrap this up.
And you know what? I hope I can read it because I didn't take a picture of it. I thought we had a picture.
That's okay.
Well, I'm going to let you read it because I can't see it. Can you read it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. 1 second. Got it. Okay. So it says, what? No, it comes from you. It needs to come from you. Show mama. You got the stage. Go.
Okay. So you see the plaque and I can't read it. It comes up on my screen backwards, but it says, "What shall I do today, Lord?" is the title. Where am I needed, dear Father, today? What loving words do you want me to say? What kindly deeds would you have me to do? What lives will I touch before the day is through? Show me your perfect will. Teach me your way. What is your plan for my life, Lord, today? And it is such a powerful prayer that will direct us in the work that he has for us to do. God's got work every day. We don't get a day off. His love is needed so greatly. And we ask you to just ask him, what do you want to use me today? And then get busy sharing the great love that he has for us. I think I'm done.
Let the doors of the church be open.
You're so funny.
Just open the doors of the church, right? Like, that's it.
Well, I say thank you again. I was real hesitant when you asked me. I'm like, But this has been a privilege to research and look at what Lott Carey does. And I'm grateful for the ways he's used me to make a difference, I hope.
So I appreciate it. So let me just pull up. Thank you, Sister Lottie. She says, amen. Sister Stephanie Wilkes, we so thank you. Wonderful, inspiring presentation. Amazing.
That's one of my team members.
Yay.
Yay.
That's right. You need to give a shout out. This is,
yes.
We're all sisters, but she needs her own fan club.
Yes.
And then VGW Consulting. Sister Barbara was a wonderful teacher for me, Valerie Winslow. All
Oh,
right.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We are so blessed. We're blessed. We're honored. This is, again, going to be part of the archives, the digital archives that will live on forever, because I truly, truly, truly believe there are more stories that,
Mm-hmm.
because we are an oral tradition,
Mm-hmm.
we may not necessarily be so quick to write something down, but honey, we could talk some talk.
Yes, we can.
We could spill
That's my
some
best
tea.
medium. Yes.
We can
Yes.
spill some tea, and let's spill
Mhm.
the tea on the great work that Lott Carey is doing.
Great work. And just a privilege to be a part of it.
Right.
And just let God lead you to where He wants to use you to make a difference in this great work. That's my.
And if you're new to coming to conventions, and somebody like Sister Barbara or Dr. Brenda McBurrow or
Mm-hmm.
Angelina Clifton or any other, let's say, the more senior mothers and fathers, uncles and aunties, if they pull you to the side and they say, honey, come on over here. Let me,
And I did have some more names to call.
call the names. Say that.
Yes,
Say
I need to call some names. Helen Guthrie. She is 98 years old, and she's a member of Moore Street Baptist Church. And she's been working with Lott Carey for umpteen years. And she was one of my great mentors. I saw her, and we were in the National Council of Negro Women together. We were at an event, and I said, I want you to, she said, I asked her, I said, I want to be like you when I grow up. But she really got her church involved. Dr. Gloria Taylor is deceased, but she was the professor at Virginia Union that allowed me that privilege to teach there. Leona Hicks and I think Conzada Turner used to work together to bring a bus to Lott Carey every year. I think I got that right. I think
Hold on a second. Hold on. Helen Guthrie. I put her name. Who's the other person? Because they have to be marked in history. Go ahead.
Okay. For me, Dr. Gloria Taylor. She is deceased, but she was a professor at Virginia Union University School of Theology. And I just got to give a shout out for my now Stony Creek mom, Miss Pauline Bonner. She's another lady who is just always been on mission for God. I just want to do something to help people. She's blessed my life. She's 93 years old, and I just praise God for her and her blessing in my life as well. And there's some more names I could call, but I'm not gonna. Those are some good ones right there. And just my BGC family, because they've supported me. My ladies, and I'm not going to start calling names because I'm going to mess up. I know I am. But they are always been there with me and work with me to make a difference.
We appreciate you, Sister Barbara. We appreciate you dearly. Thank you
Thank
for just giving a warm smile again 12, 13 years ago when I returned to Lott Carey after my hiatus of raising my children. And thanks for welcoming me and having me find a space and a place. And here we go, right? You never know. Just having somebody say, come on and help me over here.
That's right.
Look,
people are waiting and wanting, and we
right.
just have to reach out.
Right. And just to reiterate, there are people who can send. There are people who can do the work here. There are people who can go. Sometimes it's both and. Sometimes it's one of the three. And shout out to the women and the men who stay on the Lott Carey convention site when we go to convention.
Yes.
Who are there at the 6 a.m. Lord Jesus.
Oh, prayer. Yes.
6 a.m. prayer. Okay. Yes. Okay.
And that's what if you can't do anything else, you can pray.
Just sit and pray while the others
pray. And one of the things I want to add, when you see people acting cuckoo crazy, stop tuning up your nose and face and everything else. Pray for them. Pray. We just love to complain. But do you pray for people? And the prayers of the righteous, I'm a witness, availeth much. So prayer is one of the key gifts God has given us. And we need to use it.
Amen.
Let me just do a shout out for my sweetie, Mr. Ronald Edwards. He was my high school sweetheart, and God in his time got us back together. And he has become a part of the men's ministry at the BGC. And I'm just so tickled and excited about that. So he's working with me to help us make a difference.
Excellent. You got to shout
Mhm.
out the brothers who love us, who would do it,
Yes.
come alongside and do the work with us.
Yes. 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 What
Excellent.
a
So I just want
blessing.
to say thank you to Sister Brenda Faison. We'll
That's
see you.
one of my good friends, and I should have called her name because she's a teacher with us with
Yes.
Lott Carey, and we have worked together tremendously. So, like I
No,
said, when I start calling names, I get in trouble.
that's
So,
okay. MW, I think it's Mahalia Warren. Barbara Crump, love you so much, or so much love for you, and LC. And then she says her name, Mahalia Warren.
well, Harry, yeah, we travel together.
Fabulous. So we thank you all. We thank you all for joining us this evening. We want to just be in mind, or be in mind. Please pay attention to the Lott Carey website. Again, we have a lot of this is April, so May is coming. And if you don't know, now you know the Jumping for Justice. Get your
Yes,
shirt. I don't have my shirt yet, but I will get my shirt. I'll get my shirt. Get your shirts. Come if you're in the New Jersey area, if you want to pull up from Delaware or Maryland. Come on, New Jersey. It's not that far away. It's
that's
not
right.
that far away. Come on over to Fountain Baptist Church for the Jumping for Justice celebration that we have every year. It's an amazing, amazing experience, amazing day. And then we'll see you in August.
In
No,
August,
see you in August.
Philadelphia.
You in Philly. We will see you in Philly. We will see
Yes.
you in Philly. Enon, we're coming. We know you're hosting us. We
Oh, they
appreciate
are.
you. We're looking forward to it. So again, we'll see you next month. We do have the first of every month, the first day of every month, we
That's
have
right.
our monthly prayer call. So please join us for that. If you're part of the Lott Carey Wise Salt Facebook group, please stay connected to that. If you're part of, if you get the emails from Lott Carey Wise, please stay connected to that. If not, just go on Lott Carey
That's right.
.org, lottcarey.org, lottcarey.org, and you'll see the other information that you need. If you have any questions, please, you can drop them here, drop in the email, Lott Carey Facebook page group, like all the things, right?
That's
Someone will
right.
get back to you. So peace and blessings. We are just so thankful again that you're here with us, and we will
And
roll
one
out.
more note, because I didn't the office, when you were talking about that, I want to thank Atiba and Amanda and Reverend Dunn for their great support and the
And
work that
Sister
we've been
Tanya,
doing over the years. And Tanya, oh Lord, yes. But the staff at the office, they're just, and if you have questions, just call. They're there to work with you, help you in any way they can too.
excellent. All right. Good night, everyone, and we will see you on the 1st of May.
Yes.
The 1st of May, and blessed Palm Sunday and
Yes.
blessed Resurrection Sunday to everyone. We will see you, wave the palms, and we'll see you next month. All right.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.